Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and that means you are too, right here on The Local Show. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. We're also on YouTube. I didn't tell Greg that, or did you know all these cameras were putting you on YouTube today?
You did tell me that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's fine.
So you're looking good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Than me.
I'm back at you, buddy.
Yeah, well, thanks. I try. I'm looking large, but at least I'm looking, which is decent. So Greg is filling in for Steve, who is a little under the weather, but I'm sure he'll be back soon. Maybe he just wanted an extended vacation. You never know, and he deserves it. So we're having a little fun today and bringing on a bunch of great guests. And one of those great guests is John Tumino, and he's here now with us. He's the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. How are you, John?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on the program.
Well, thank you. I don't think I've seen you since Christmas. I think you were on the Christmas special.
Right, exactly. So it's been a couple of months.
It's been a couple of months, yeah.
Happy Valentine's past.
Yeah, right, exactly. Every year I was traumatized back when I was a kid. I'm full Italian and everything. So I used to watch all the Italian-oriented shows. And one time I saw this show called The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And I thought, well, this sounds interesting. I must have been in my late teens. And I turned it on and I watched it and I was traumatized by that. I was like, man, these people are brutal. I don't want to get involved with that. I'd like to go the opposite way. Hey, tell me, John, what is your background and how did you get into In My Father's Kitchen?
Yeah, so my background is being raised by immigrant parents. My parents came to the States in 1964, and I was, I guess, made in Argentina, born here in the United States in 1965, and grew up in a home where food was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And so food became a really big thing in my background growing up. I found out that my friends wanted to come to my house because we ate different kinds of food. And so I realized as a young guy that was powerful, that I could use food as a vehicle to make friendships.
Right.
And then we went into the restaurant world. I ran some pizzerias that my family owned in the 80s to 90s. And then we owned Asti Cafe from 2002. And I left there in 2011 to start this work. And still using food. Like I have our pasta sauce with me now, and I brought a little snack here too that we can talk about. So food has been a big part of my background, and I see how food brings people to the table where change could happen in people's lives or relationships could be established.
Okay. So what was the, how do I want to say, the genesis of In My Father's Kitchen? What brought you to start the organization?
Yeah, so for me, there's a big faith component to my life. I'm clergy, so I'm an ordained minister as well. So it's my faith journey finally kind of clashing with my natural talents as a chef and feeling compelled to do something bigger than just running a restaurant for the greater good of the community. And then I had an encounter with a guy on an off-ramp that changed my life forever, and that's how In My Father's Kitchen was born in 2011.
Incredible. Greg and I were just talking about that a lot of times, being people of faith, that, you give in order to receive. And when you focus on the giving part, you're blessed with things.
Yeah, it generally doesn't happen the opposite way.
Right, and I see that all the time. So the work that we do now, we're going into our 12th year. We're just an extension of the community who supports us, as well as, I believe, God who commissioned us. Yeah. And if you open up your hands, right, you can't give if you're clenched fists. So once you open up and let things flow through you, it just keeps coming through and keeps coming through. We're a pass-through. And it's been amazing to see the transformation of people's lives and the impact we're making in our homeless community through outreach.
Sure. Explain, unpack that a little bit more for people who may not know. There are people that we see under bridges. There's most notably anyone who goes to Destiny. If you're coming down Hiawatha Boulevard, you'll see some people there, sometimes with a guitar. You'll see a young lady who'll stand there with the sign. Those are the people you reach out to. And what are those people dealing with, and how do you help them?
Yeah, so 95% of the folks that we're engaging, specifically who panhandle, are addicted to substances. Heroin is really big right now. Molly's another thing. Spike is synthetic marijuana that people are smoking. The crazy stuff is right now that everything is being laced with like fentanyl and all these other things.
That's
Ketamine's now being found and stuff. So the group that we deal with have a lot of addiction, untreated mental health, and then they're homeless on top of it. So we come up and do, I call it engagement, street engagement, just first contact, meeting someone and finding out who they are. We bring out a doctor with us. If you follow us on our social media platforms, you see some pretty intense pictures that we put up. Like yesterday, a girl had an abscess on her leg that the doc had to lance it right on her outreach van.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was infected, and it's because of heroin use, using dirty needles and things like that. So we do some pretty intense stuff. I show the good, the bad, and the ugly of homelessness and the brokenness of individuals, but I also show how our engaging with folks helps people start to transform and move in a new direction.
Do people transform?
Yeah, our van driver, Kevin, for our higher ground van, I have our work crew out today, 9 people on a van, and we're on a Wednesday here. And he's got 9 people on the van, and he was homeless. I met him 8 years ago, hooked on crack, living under a bridge. He bought into what we were doing, got on track to change his life, went to rehab. I became his mentor, then connected to him to his first employment. Now he works for us. He drives the van. He's one of probably dozens that have made a turnaround, and it's because someone believed in them and they got some hope when they felt like there was no hope.
Yeah.
And no better person to speak to those people other than the person who's been there.
Transform. So transform people, transform people.
Yeah.
Right. So he's a shining light on that van today to 9 other people that say, hey, listen, I did it. You can do it. I'm no one different.
Right.
You just got to put in the footwork.
And you help people find the resources, right? So it's not only bringing them maybe to God, but also giving them the physical resources.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So with me as a minister and a faith person, so I'm not out proselytizing people. I'm just out there loving people unconditionally with no strings approach, bringing the social service element of what we do, like through the person's physical needs, any mental needs, medical needs. And then in the midst of all that, Jesus shows up. Like they'll say, why are you doing this? And then they open the door for a conversation to happen. Or some of them know that I'm clergy, so they'll pull me to the side and say, can you pray with me? I need this. So it's not kind of like going out there with a Bible. It's just living my faith.
Right.
And they know that, and then they open up to us and share their hearts with us.
What better way? Yeah, I like that. Living your faith and by example. Tell us a little bit about your sauce and your chicken riggies and how that fits in.
So the chicken riggies, I brought them in today for you guys. I brought one for each of you. It's a lunch that we brought out yesterday to the street. So we bring out elevated kind of quality food to show them dignity. I'm not bringing out peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like linguine,
or a bag of chips or something.
Chicken riggies. I'm bringing nice, awesome deli sandwiches that we create, or steak sandwiches. So, and I brought our pasta sauce because we sell it in our local like Wegmans as well as specialty shops around the community.
Yes.
And also I could deliver it to your front door if you order it from me directly. But I use this sauce to make this riggy sauce. So like when I was a chef in the restaurant, there's a process of making riggy sauce, right? Doing a whole production. Well, I already did it for you, most of the work. So it's adding this to a pot, adding some cream and cherry peppers, and you have kind of a quick fix on chicken riggies and adding chicken and pasta to it. So it's eating with a purpose. So if you buy the sauce, all the proceeds come back to our organization, and you feed your family's belly, and you're helping us feed other people's bellies.
That's wonderful. And if they go to your website, inmyfatherskitchen.org, they can order any of your products off that too?
So you go to the Taste and See tab, you click on it, and it's the sauce, the syrup, and we sell a coffee as well.
That's excellent. I can't tell you how much I love talking with you and really love what you do in the community. And I think about those people every time I pass them because, as a general resident of, central New York, I don't know how to help them. And you're out there doing it. People can't get into your organization and go help. I think we've talked about that before. No volunteers, but you could give us donate clothing or financial support and things of that nature.
Excellent. So money would be better spent giving it to you rather than the person with the cardboard sign.
Yeah, so we encourage not to give panhandlers money because it's going to go to their things. So if it's us or another agency that's working with homeless services, I would say that's where your money's better directed.
Excellent. Well, that's John Tumino, ladies and gentlemen. Angwin, co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen, inmyfatherskitchen.org. We encourage you to go to the website and buy the products and contribute to something well worth it. Thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate it. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
Same to you guys. Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, Greg, we're going to kick off hour number 2. Hopefully you're not running with your hair on fire and leaving me. But
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll have conversations with Stan Shane. He's the owner of Syracuse Dog Fence. John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, will stop by. Ed Ware, owner of Ware Brothers Carpet and Duct Cleaning. And then John Kupperman, owner of Smith's Restaurant Supply, all in hour number 2. Stick around. Starts real soon.